No, no, not far away. Just yeah. Now it's good.
You
Now
can
it's
hear me?
good. So how are you? Yeah,
I'm
of
doing
course I
fine.
do.
A bit tired.
So yeah, yeah, I know. I'm so sorry actually that I have to schedule this live at this time.
No problem. No,
It's
no problem.
I know it's not a suitable time for you, but yeah, we can. Yeah, are you
It's
really
not
tired? Yeah, because
just because.
people here are
Go
yes.
ahead. You
So
go ahead.
people here are so excited to speak to you and to hear from you, because the last time when you invited me in the live, I received some messages, people telling me that your discussion with Sam was great and we really enjoyed it and we benefited from it. So I hope that you can invite Sam again to the live. And when I posted that post last time, and unfortunately you couldn't make it up, and
Yeah.
we didn't do the live, so people were a little bit upset. And when I go live, they were asking me about where is Teacher Sam. We want Teacher Sam. So here you go today with
Yeah,
our
I'm sorry
friend
about
Sam.
that. So I'm really sorry just because of my I was tired. Actually, it happens. You know, sometimes you're speaking too much, and that's what happens to me. If I
Yeah,
have just like 3 classes one day, my like my tonsils and my throat will become so tight. You know, it happens. Like it happened to you also. Especially you are one of the good teachers I know, and you have a lot of good energy. Also, the people enjoyed my life with you last time, and you know you spoke more than me, and you gave them a lot of tips and a lot of energy and a lot of pieces of advice, and that was nice. You know, that was very nice. So that's what makes us when we see the reaction of the people, then even if you are feeling
yeah,
tired or you are feeling you don't have the energy, then it gives you some motivation to
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, it happens to me actually sometimes when I speak too much, when I have two classes at the same time, when I have to teach, for example, in the morning, and because sometimes I teach in the morning and I go back teaching in the afternoon, which is pretty difficult, especially
Yeah.
when you speak, when you are energetic. Because some teachers, they are like calm down and they can speak like in a normal and easy way, and they can relax
I
and speak
envy
to
them.
students in a very relaxed way. But me, I can't do that. If I'm in the
Me
class, I
too.
have to shout, you know, give this, take this, and I have to stand and use my arms, use my hands all the time. So I can't like stand and speak in a soft voice or something. I need
That's
to be
that's true because we cannot,
so
you know, it's like you either give it all or you don't give it anything, you know.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. So
yeah.
Sam, today we have of course, we go into. How are you doing, Sam? Yeah, he's good,
I hope,
Sam. He's good.
sorry,
Don't
Mr.
worry.
Abdullah. I hope they can hear me because I saw some comments telling me we have you have a problem, teacher Sam, with your. I don't know.
With your
You can
voice?
hear me, I think. Yes,
No, no,
because
they can hear you.
because sometimes the host can hear, but maybe the audience cannot. Yeah, but
Ah,
let's see.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we can.
You can hear, guys. You can hear. You can hear. Can hear us both. Yeah, yeah.
Someone
They
said,
they can.
I
Yes.
hope. Yeah.
So
Okay.
we are we opened this live for two reasons. Well, the
Mhm.
first reason to speak about this topic of how can we learn the English language at home using the online resources. How can we start as beginners from the beginning, from the basics? How can we make use of these? So last time you invited me and you asked me about these things, and I gave you my responses, and I think that you would give similar things, but in your own method, so that
In a
people
different
can
way.
benefit.
Mhm.
So someone who is just new to this language, someone who has never studied English before, who is just trying to grasp or to understand the ideas, who barely understand expressions or vocabulary, how can he start?
Mhm. Yeah. You mean at at the very beginning? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you are a beginner, I would say it's better to start by because you know motivation is very important and like interest. So I would say it's better to develop interest in the language first because you may go on ahead and start. Later we can talk about should I start with vocabulary or grammar or just go watch some movies. I would say try to develop an interest. And this is the point, like go and try to find something you are interested in and
Yeah.
you can see it or do it in English. For example, if you are interested in, I would say for example, my interest was to watch some interesting, strange things, like, I don't know, technology, inventions, and some strange things happening
Crazy
in the
stuff.
world. Yes, crazy things, like someone, like, I don't know, the tallest man in the world, whatever, you know, something strange. So I was interested in this, and I usually see it in English, like, you know, like the Guinness World Record, or some people who did some very, like People Are Awesome, you know, the page, they do some crazy videos, like very amazing stuff. So I was interested in that. That made me go and watch that content. And when you watch that content, you develop the interest in English, you know, and that interest is going to keep you motivated to learn. So I would advise you guys to first develop an interest, then you can start learning the language. Because if you're not interested in the language or its culture, also the culture, maybe you are interested in the American culture, American music, pop, rap, whatever, or also British stuff, anything. So find yourself an interest. Maybe the British, you know, Premier League, maybe football, maybe it's the American NBA, maybe it's the Hollywood, you know, culture, or we have no idea. There, you know, it's a sea.
It has to be, excuse me, it has to be something related to the American and the British culture. Because if you are interested, for example, in Bollywood movies or in Korean movies, that's not going to help you, because you need to find something that has a relation to the British or the American or the Australian, I mean, a country that speaks English. Yeah, English, like the English, British, like the NBA. For example, some people are interested in basketball, NBA. Some people are interested in Premier League. So about this, let me ask you a question about this. Some people, they are on asking me this question, and this question is really disturbing to me. I don't know if you hear this question too from your followers. People are asking, which one is better, the British accent or the British English or the American English? In my opinion, let me give you my opinion, then I'll let you. In my opinion, I think the difference between American and Britain and British is a little bit exaggerated. Okay, some people, they think that there is a very huge difference. Like it's like as if the American is a language and the British is a language. No, it's English.
True.
Okay, yeah. So the American themselves, they took English from England. They didn't take it from another country. So it's the same language. The only thing is maybe the accent. And in this one, the accent is like a taste. It's like the taste of food. It's what you like. Do you like the American or do you like the British? Depends on what you prefer to hear. So that's my opinion. What do you think?
That's true. I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I think many people, yes, it's really exaggerated. Because there are differences, yes. There are differences in words, vocabulary, some vocabulary, of course, some expressions. Of course, the culture is different. Any country has a different culture. But, you know, when we say difference, it's just, I would give people advice. Don't, if you like I like the American culture or I like the American accent, so don't develop a negative attitude towards the British side or the British one, you know? Because that's also a source of learning, you know? That's a source of learning. I had this, by the way, I can tell you from my own experience. I used to say I don't like the British British English. I don't like British accent. If someone gives me a video, I would refuse to watch it because it's British. That's totally wrong. You know, that's a totally wrong. I mean, kind of behavior, because that's just a misconception, or you know, you have a wrong
misconception.
Yeah,
misconception or
understanding, or you are thinking in a wrong way about something.
Excuse me, the voice is stopping from time to time. We can't hear you clearly. It's like.
How about wait? Now it's fine.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, so I hope this internet is not gonna make me suffer today. Yeah.
No, the voice is not clear.
Wait, let me do something. Let me do the trick. How about
Can
now?
you use an earphone or something? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it okay? I don't know. Wait.
A little bit freezing. The voice is freezing. The image is freezing.
But I don't know why I can't see myself.
Mm.
How about now?
Can you go out and then go back? Oh, go
Yes,
with the
I
home
tried
button?
that. Now?
Um,
No?
no.
Maybe I should use earphones. Let me use earphones. I think
Yeah,
this is a
try to
problem.
use earphones. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Let me try earphones. I think, I don't know, maybe because of the...
Maybe the problem with the connection, I guess.
No, I don't think so. Now it's fine?
Now it's good. Now it's good. It's fine now.
Now it's
Go
good.
ahead.
Okay, good. Even if I can put it here. I don't need, because I don't want to vlog.
Yeah,
It's
it's okay.
very...
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Just keep it like that. It's okay.
Yes. So as I said, people have a different. Sometimes they can have a taste. It's good, but let me tell them something, guys. If you are a beginner or even an elementary learner, don't focus on an accent. Focus on standard pronunciation.
Yes.
When you are just started learning, you just started learning now, or you started a few months ago. Really, I advise you, don't care about the accent. If you see me speaking like an American, or you see Mr. Abdelrazak speaking like an American, don't care about that. Just focus on standard, correct pronunciation, that you are pronouncing
because
the words correctly.
some people they get mad when they can't speak like the person they are motivated by. They feel down. They don't feel that their English is good. They can speak, they can produce sentences, they can be understood, and they can understand others, but the accent they want, they can't get. So they feel down. They don't feel good about their English.
That's true. That's
it happens.
Yes, yeah. It may do like demotivate, but let me tell you, don't compare yourself to others. Because at the end, nobody can be perfect. And I will tell you something like. Me, I may see, and you always should see people as a source of motivation. Like when you see someone speaking with a very good accent, you can just try to, imitate them or something, but don't make that thing demotivate you, like make you less motivated to learn English or to improve. So, it's better to have, it's good to have an accent, like to have, I would say it's good. I would say it's interesting. It's cute, maybe, it's cute. It's interesting to have a nice accent, but it's not compulsory. It's not obligatory. It's not very important. You should have a standard, correct pronunciation. Even though it can be mixed between British and American and Australian, who cares? Many people speak around the world and they are working in jobs around the world. And they are being, what's important is that you are being understood by the other person and you are speaking standard English. So focus on standard English first. When you get, I would say, when you get to the intermediate level, maybe upper intermediate or advanced, then start worrying about not start worrying, I would say, you have the right to choose, or like go ahead and choose, pick up a taste and try to focus which accent you wanna pick up. And at that time, I would advise you, if you pick one, then focus on it. So you won't end up with a mixed accent, as I say. If you end up with it, it's fine. But it's better to focus on one side. Like, for example, you're listening to, you're watching American movies, you're watching American shows, TV shows, or, you're listening to, like, for example, I'll tell you my experience. I used to watch the American president's speech, especially when I was a student. There was Obama. I used to watch all of his speeches.
He was my model too. He was my model. When I hear him speaking, I say, well, one day I should be speaking like him. And I couldn't achieve that until now.
It's okay.
Not the accent. I don't mean the accent, but I mean the confidence and the way he expresses himself. He's great. He's a great speaker. He's better than Trump. Trump is a good speaker as well, but
no, Trump is like very I don't know how to say, like very not slang, but he's very like typical English, English for the house or home,
it's like Obama is using the English. No, I'm sorry. The Trump is using a language that is that is popular, a popular English. Like in Morocco, for example. He used to use a popular Darija, okay? So so that's to communicate with people. So the same thing. Not like Obama. Obama, he was formal in his speech.
Very formal.
He was formal, but he was a good person who can convince you. Who's great at convincing people. It was great.
That's true. That's true. The way he speaks, you know, his intonation and his, as you said, the way he speaks, he's very organized and he's very fluent, of course, and he can convince you and can find good ideas. So I used to listen to his speeches. Why? Just because I wanted to, I like to listen to him and to learn how to speak. It's like making a speech. So at that point, you can, as I said, you can focus on one accent or even one person. Take one person as a model, you know, like a model of your pronunciation, and try to imitate him or her to try to develop an accent. This is how you can develop an accent. But still, don't focus too much at that moment when you are trying to develop an accent. Try not to mix until you develop your accent. Then you can go back and watch. So I will tell you, I refrained a little bit from British content, for some time when I was learning English. Maybe my second year, my third year at the university, I refrained. I was focused more on the American content, American English. And after that, when I was doing my master's degree, then I start switching, no problem. You see, so that's how you can. This is how you can focus on the accent, but at an upper intermediate level, not at the beginner level. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Because if you do it at the beginner level, that what will happen to you is that your brain will be distracted. Because your main focus as a beginner should be like vocabulary, basics of English. Okay, vocabulary and the basics of English, and listening. Too much listening. Okay, if you focus on the accent, you will be distracted. Okay, so you will make it bigger for you, because the accent is something. I think that until the advanced, you should start thinking about the accent. Let me ask you another thing, two terms that are a little bit confusing: pronunciation and accent. Can you tell us about the difference between pronunciation? Because some people I have a bad pronunciation and I have a bad accent. What is the difference between these two terms?
Yeah. So, you know, because I did some, I don't want to speak about it too technically, but I'll try to simplify. Pronunciation. Yeah, pronunciation is the study. What is pronunciation? It's the study of the sounds of the language. So when we say pronunciation, it's a field of study. It's a field by itself. It's a field. So it's governed by rules. There are rules that regulate or that control this. So when we say pronunciation, so we have standard pronunciation, correct and not correct. If it is correct, then the rule was applied. If it is not correct, then that rule was not applied. For example, you see, so if you say, for example, this should be pronounced as this, why? Because there is a rule. So this is pronunciation. So there are rules of language, like grammar. It's like grammar. But accent is more, as we said, it's a kind of preference. It's a kind of preference. We can have, as we said, we can have correct pronunciation, and from that correct pronunciation, we can take different accents. So it can be said in this way because of these people, they speak like this, or maybe it can be said in this way because, you know, I don't know, maybe it can be.
Example about this, for example, the British people, they pronounce it as water, and the American, they pronounce it as water. But this is two different accents, okay? But if you have someone, for example, pronounce it as wheater or water or something, it is not a good pronunciation, or it is not a correct pronunciation. So pronunciation, I think accent is more about the sounds, okay? The sounds, for example, the R sound in Australia is not like the R sound in America. It's different. So this is what makes the difference, I guess.
But let me tell you something. Also, accent, we can also add sometimes intonation. Intonation and stress affects the accent too much. So you can see the British people speaking they would say, I don't know, or an American would say like
Robert.
Yeah, or maybe just let's take a sentence like they would say, I ain't, you know, I ain't doing nothing here. Yeah, I ain't going there. You know, I ain't going there. And then if you go to the British side, you would say like, I am not going, you know, like I'm not, and they will emphasize the not. Yeah, the not.
Like you hear the T sound, you hear it.
That's true. And the intonation. So intonation, like the waves of the sounds are also different. So that's what changes the accent from like one place. And let me tell you, sometimes it's even, of course, we know that there are accents. There are accents, even maybe if you go to London or if you go to the UK, you will find different types of accents. You know, I was in Hong Kong and I met a British girl in the elevator, and she spoke to me, and I thought that she's not British. I know British English, but she spoke kind of American, but mixed with British. And she's not from London. She's from a kind of, I don't know which city, I don't remember. And she has a kind of British accent mixed with American. And she's British, she's native. See, so that's what, you know, so accent will make you crazy. Just like pick one later, you know, when you are, first, as you said, the rule is important. Like, should we say water or what? No. First, the rule, like water, like it's like water.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if you say water or water. You know, water, no problem. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
And also, so as we said in the beginning, so beginners or students who have just started learning the language, they ask a question frequently. They say, well, we are beginners. Should we start with grammar rules? Should we study the verbs first and then go and practice fluency and speak or something? Or what should we do exactly? How about grammar? What should we do?
Yeah, I would say for beginners, yes. There are different, you know, of course, you know, there are different types of learners. Each one will maybe, there are people who are very comfortable with grammar. They will like to start with grammar. But I would say something, if you want to have a successful start as an English language learner, try to start with two main things, vocabulary and expressions. And I would emphasize in expressions, because I know many people, and I am one of them, who picked up a language. Like now, even now, I'm picking up some Chinese, for example. How? Just by expressions. I'm trying to learn expressions. I don't care about grammar, or at the beginning, I mean, or anything else, like reading or speaking or anything. I just try to pick up some expressions and use them, and try to use them. Use them when you need them. Like when you are in need, use them. So you see some expression, go ahead and take note of it and go ahead and try to use it whenever you have a chance. You know, also vocabulary. So when you, this will help you to build a base, you know, because when we build a house, you know, the house needs a base, the pyramid. When we have a pyramid like this, the base should be strong. So if you have a base at the beginning, which is strong, which has good vocabulary, of course, basic vocabulary and expressions, then you can add the grammar. And we can see it also from a linguistic perspective, let's say. So it's like you are trying to, let's say, you're trying to make a chain, like chain, you know, chain like this.
Yeah.
So you will bring the vocabulary like this, and then, and of course, some expressions. And then you need what? To tie those words. You need grammar.
Yeah, to sew them.
Then,
you need to sew them.
Very good. To sew those words, you will need grammar. So of course, grammar will come right after that, or maybe along with it. I would say, if you are a nerd, like if you are a nerd, if you are very serious, if you like to learn grammar, then go ahead and do that. But if you feel like, no, I don't like grammar now, okay, go ahead and do some expressions. Focus on the expressions first, then move to the grammar just right after.
How about the basics of grammar? Like I don't know, like the plural and the singular, how to use the definite articles, the indefinite articles, the basic, the important verbs in English, the verb to have, the verb to be. Should we learn these things at the beginning, or should we like neglect them for a time and then go back to them? Or
I would say it's better. It's better to learn them. You know, if you, as I said, if you, you know, I would link what I said to developing an interest. So you can learn expressions, vocabulary to develop the interest. But of course, we cannot neglect grammar. Grammar is very important. So you have to have the basics. You have any course, any class you can find in like online or anything about English, you will see that the first class will be the verb to be, or as you said, the indefinite article, or the plural, or how to describe clothes, or how to describe the weather. So you have to have these things. So it's a must at the beginning. But if you feel, I'm talking to the people who feel like they feel like I don't like grammar, you can pause, maybe focus on vocabulary and expressions just for some time. I'm not talking about months, no, just for a few weeks maybe, or days. And once you feel like you have some basic, then you will feel the need to connect those things. You will feel the need. So of course you cannot speak like a dictionary. You're not a dictionary. You cannot speak like separate words, separate expressions. Yeah, you cannot come and say, hello, Sam, teacher, speak English. Where is the grammar?
Yeah,
yeah, then you will need the grammar, and then you will go ahead and learn. See, yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, so I agree with you, actually. This is very, very important. Sometimes when you are learning, you can't neglect grammar at all. Even if you try to neglect it, you will find yourself going back to it and trying to understand some things, like the plural, for example. If you speak about the words that ends with double S, for example, you need to add ES, or the word that ends with X, we need to add ES and something. So these rules, you will need them. So it's better that you go have a look at these rules, but don't bother yourself too much by, well, I have to understand this, I have to solve all the exercises. And also another problem, which I should warn you guys about some people or some students, English learners at the beginning, they go deep into the grammar. Let me give you an example. You as a beginner, you shouldn't, like, for example, go and study like the passive voice, reported speech, how you report speech, how, for example, even with articles, you shouldn't go with exercises that are really hard, really difficult, like the ones we had back in the university. You should go only with simple examples and simple exercises so that you can have the general idea, or you can understand the general rule. Okay, so this way you will make it easier for yourself, and learning will not be hard for you. Also for tenses, you can just, as a beginner, just try to understand the present simple, the past. I prefer, and if you can move to the present perfect, that's good. Okay, the future is simple, you will have the future, but try to focus on the present simple and the past simple, because they are used a lot. Okay, in English language, and especially the past, because English is full of past, irregular verbs and all these stuff. But don't trouble yourself with too much grammar, because if you do that, you will be distracted and you will lose hope and you will get bored at a point. Well, this is.
I would say something about this. I would say, because I would say an example. When I'm teaching, for example, Unit 1, beginner, very beginner, like beginner level, Unit 1. And then we come to the plural, and then we have the S of the plural, and then it changes. So sometimes it's pronounced S, sometimes it's pronounced Z, sometimes pronounced is. And then they come and ask me, what's the difference? When should we say S? When should we say Z? When should we say is? And I tell them, guys, relax.
That's another question.
I tell them, like, one day in language center here in Rabat, they wanted me to explain that.
But it's really difficult.
Phonetically, yes.
Yeah, you have to explain to them voiceless and voiced and
and sibilant sounds. Yes. How can you imagine, like, sibilant sound? I have to explain sibilant sounds. Oh my god! So then I told them, you really want to learn? You really want to know that? It will be hard to explain. I can explain in English, but you will not understand. And then they told me you can explain Arabic even. And I told them, okay, let's take 10 minutes break. This is our break from the class, and it's like a break, and I will explain. And I tried. But they felt like, oh my god, this is a science, and then they felt, some of them understood, some of them didn't. And I told them, guys, you see, so don't focus too much on the rules. You are beginners, okay? If you feel like you are curious, try to learn it by practice. That's it. You will learn it by practice. Don't care too much about it, like you want to understand the rule at the beginning, like all the details of all the rules. No, it's not very essential at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the same question actually from my students at one of the centers here in Jadida. And they asked me the same question. Why are we pronouncing this as classes and this as books and the other one as pens? Why here is Z and here is S and here is well, I said that's another topic. And I can't explain it. It's not because I'm not able to do that, but because it will just disturb you. It was just bother you. As beginners, you shouldn't get yourself into these things. Well, this is an advice for you guys. When you are studying grammar, don't go into details unless or except if you are an English student. If you are majoring in English, that's another topic, right? We're not speaking about students of English. If you are students of English, you have to go deeper. All right. If you want to major in English in university, then even the smallest things or the simplest things like the articles and stuff like that, they are a very, very big topic, and you need to go deeper into that. Well, studying grammar also leads us to something very, very important, is how do I know that I'm speaking correct English, especially when you want to measure your pronunciation. How can you do that? You don't have, for example, anyone to correct for you. Let's say you are reading something, and sometimes you are disturbed. You say, well, how do I know that what I'm saying is correct? So what should you do at this point? Should we use dictionary and check how this transcriptions and things? Because this is a really it's not a good idea in my opinion. So what should we do? How can we do it?
This one is tricky. You know, I don't know. I would say, actually, yes, for me, how did I measure my if I'm speaking correctly? And when I say speaking correctly, means two things. Means not two things. I would say many, but of course I would try to say first, pronunciation. Correct? Is your pronunciation correct? Are you using the correct words? So vocabulary or word? Let's call it word choice, not vocabulary. Word choice. Are you choosing the right words? And let's say also your grammar. Is it correct?
Are you grammatically correct? Yeah.
Exactly. Are you grammatically correct or not? We can move to other things, but that's for the other levels. Like, you know, we can move to the social appropriateness and to all that stuff.
I think that's just my question. My question was just about pronunciation, because some people they want, or they focus more on pronunciation. They say, how can I? Because what is the problem here? Sometimes people, they pronounce words in a wrong way at the beginning. And if they don't know that they are doing it wrong, they would keep on repeating it every time in the same pronunciation. I had an experience with that. I had an experience with this. Yeah, and after that, you as a teacher, you can't change that to them. It's very, very difficult. I have students who pronounced taxi. So the word taxi, they pronounce it as taxi. So they use the sound stop. And I used to really suffer with them from this. And I corrected to them each time, and still they make the same mistake. Just they say taxi, but no, it's taxi. So they learn it at the beginning this way. And for beginners, it's a major problem. If you learn a word in a wrong way, you will practice it in the same way, and it will stick into your mind. How can I know each time these words are pronounced correctly? Should I just take words from listening, or should I read and ask someone, am I reading it right or not? What can we do?
Yeah, so I would say, so as I said, so if you want to focus on pronunciation, like are you speaking the correct pronunciation? Are you speaking the right way? Personally, I don't want to go into the IPA. You have to learn the IPA and know how to transcribe, and then you can get, let me get this, sorry. You can get this, yes, you can maybe get this, and you can go here, and you have to find the word here, and you have to check the transcription here. That's going to be maybe too complicated. This is, as you said, for English
learners. Not a good idea. Not a good idea, guys.
Exactly. So I would say, for example, try, if you feel you can do this, go ahead. Otherwise, there are ways of doing it in an easy way. Now we have dictionaries, of course, and you can have I have, for example, I had, or I still have, but I don't use it right now too much, like dictionary, but it's a speech, it has a speech recognition, like speech recognition. So for example, I can type a sentence to this dictionary and it will read it, you know, the dictionary will try to speak it with a good voice. You may say, yeah, it's the same in Google Translation or something. Yes, but there are some dictionaries that have good ones. This one is, for example, called Lingos, L-I-N. Yeah, Lingos. It's very basic, and you can type a sentence, and I can hear it sometimes, even though it's a dictionary. So if you type a word, it gives you the definition. But if you type a sentence, there's no definition. But at least the dictionary will read it, you know,
read it for you.
In an accent. Let's not say American, or in a standard English. It will read it for you. So then I check if I'm saying it correct. And then, you know, then I try to change my pronunciation or try to adapt to that. I would also emphasize on listening. If you want to know if you are speaking correctly, listen more. If you are listening all the time to English,
that's the key.
If you are in the first year of English, I always used to listen to those basic listenings, maybe sometimes to some, as we said, Obama speeches. You know, I'm riding my bike to the university and I'm listening to Obama speaking about something, you know, early in the morning at 7 a.m. or 7:30 going to the university. Or even listening to anything, you know, in English. Of course, something that interests me, you know. That's very, otherwise you will be bored, you know. You will fall asleep on the way to school. Yeah. So this will help you. Otherwise, I can say also you can do something else. You can have some friends, have some people who speak English, who will check you, who will help you, who will correct you. I would let me give you this. When I was a second year master student in the English language, you will be shocked. You know, you talked about learned pronunciation, wrongly learned pronunciation. I had a case with the word height. You know, height, weight, height. So I used to say hate. Can you imagine? For 3 years. For 3 years, yes, I used to say hate. And I had no idea that it was not correct. For 3 years, nobody.
I had the same problem. I had the same problem with many words. You know, I had the problem with the word biscuits.
You say biscuits?
Yeah. Where did it come from? It came from French.
Yes.
Yeah. And what is worse is that back when I was teaching primary, I used to teach it that way. You see what it leads? So if I teach them biscuits, who can solve this problem?
Yeah, that's true.
Learn it like by heart.
Yes. And some words I would say, because you ask, oh really, nobody noticed? Nobody knows. No, why? Because just the chance didn't come that I'm using that word often, because maybe that word is not very common. I'm not using it very often. So so when I joined the master's degree, I was living with my friends, 3 friends, and they were good, you know, very good, like classmates.
They pay attention.
Exactly. And one of them is also like linguistics major and very good. And I was saying hate. And then he told me like, no, it's height. I told him like, really? And then we went and checked. Oh, really? Wow, it's height. And I told him, oh my God, I've been saying hate for a long time.
Yeah.
Since then, it took me 6 months, or maybe, I don't know. I want to say it. And then I say, because we had some, I think some reading or some stuff, it had the word like very often. So I was the moment I want to say like, so how about it's hate? So I was hesitating. I was hesitating all the time for months, and then it was changed. It was changed back to height.
It takes time.
Now it takes time to change because it was acquired, not learned. It was already acquired.
It's sticking to your mind. It's sticking to your mind. It's really difficult to get out and to change it, to replace it.
That's true. So
I had the same problem with many words actually, and until now, from time to time, I hear words that I pronounce wrongly. Okay, and I go back and I check them, or I hear them in somewhere, and I say, well, that was a mistake. That was a problem. So I should change it.
That's true.
Yeah,
So always
that's
surround
correct.
yourself with people, who speak
Of
English.
course, around yourself. So the guys, I always tell people this: if you can find someone next to you or near to you who speaks English, that's going to be great for your English acquisition. You will learn like very fast. Okay, if you have someone around you, and especially if you have someone at home. Like I used to notice this with the kids. I used to teach primary, and whenever I have someone in class who's good in speaking and his accent or his pronunciation is good, I just go and ask him about his parents. And the surprise is that most of these students who can speak and who can communicate in English, they have parents already speaking English with them at home. Okay, so this is an advice. Even if we have someone here who have kids at home, if you have kids, try to practice English with them, and you will see marvelous results. Believe me.
That's true.
You have a kid, just try to give him instructions, that the daily instructions, the daily routine instructions, use them in English, and you will see how your kid will improve and how he will acquire the language in a very, very short time.
They will develop pronunciation like they may develop it native-like or even native. If they are like 3 years old,
they will speak like natives. Especially if you have a pronunciation that is very good. This is a chance for you. If you're not married, if someone is not married and he wants to get a wife, and if you want your kids to, it's like if you're choosing a wife. If you want kids who have blue eyes, you need to choose a wife whose eyes are blue. If you want your kids to speak good English, then you have to choose a wife that speaks good English. This way, you will guarantee that your kids will speak good English. Anyways, so my next question to you is, well, we are in a level, like, let's suppose we are we moved into an intermediate level, and what are the changes that should occur? How do I know that I really that I'm really progressing? How do I know that? What are the things that I should see in myself to say, well, I am intermediate now, or I am upper intermediate, or I am advanced? Because we don't, apart from exams that people pass in order to see to test their levels, you just by yourself, how can you know that you really progressed and you are really doing a great effort and you are progressing?
I would say, when you get to the, let me tell you, before we speak about this point, there is another point related to it, which is if you, when you start learning, you will get at a point where you will feel like you stagnate, like stagnate. You will block. You will be blocked. You will stop. Yeah. You will stop developing. So at that point, you will feel like, oh, I'm listening to English a lot, and I can understand these guys. They are speaking. I can watch some movies. I can understand most of them. I get this question a lot. I can understand. I can listen. I can read, but I cannot speak, or I can speak, but I'm very blocked, and I have a lot of problems, and my English is not improving. Then you should check your learning. Two things: your learning strategies, and also the content you are learning. Content. So, if you get to this point, for example, you're listening to something basic, as we said, you're listening to some show or something that is basic, and also you're learning some basic grammar, you're learning some basic stuff, and you already know those things, and you practice them, and you feel it's fine, and you can speak simple English. If you reach this stage, you have to change your learning style and also your learning content. Change the content and change the style. That's very important. So how can I change the style? First, let's talk about the content. How can I change the content? Content always should be, a little bit above your level. So that content that you have been listening to for a long time, it's easy. So you already become comfortable with it. It's your comfort zone. Change it. Yeah. Once it's simple, change it. I experienced this. I was listening to some upgrade. Yeah, I was listening to some basic English,
Then I felt like it's getting boring now, and I'm not learning anything from it. So I changed. I used to listen to podcasts, and I found they are simple. That's all. And I'm already like I was at the intermediate, upper intermediate level. So what do I need? I need something advanced. So then that's when I switched to speeches, lectures, some courses even. So I was listening to technical, advanced
Scientific stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
Psychology, the structure of the brain, whatever.
Yeah.
Very advanced. Even though some of them were very difficult, some of them were somehow difficult, but it's good. I'm learning from them. So change the content, change it. On YouTube, listening, your readings, change them. I moved from reading simple stories like texts, also to reading articles on some, like let's say Moroccan, like Morocco world news, like some Moroccan news. And then when I feel it's simple or something, also I may move and search for technical stuff like books or maybe some, let's say, special. For example, my field, I used to love psychology. So I used to check some articles and I found those very simply funny written articles. At the beginning, I read them and I learn from them. But then I felt like I'm not learning a lot. So then I go to the real stuff. Then you can go to psychology or like medical websites, and you can search and read. And you can learn from them. You see. Also, I talked about learning strategies, your learning style. You should change also the learning style, which means if you feel like you are stagnating, like you have to switch the focus. So you have problem or your vocabulary is becoming simple or staying at a simple stage, then change the way you're learning it. You know, like if you are learning it by taking notes, then change to listening or maybe to recording. If you are learning by recording, listening, also change. If you have a different styles of learning, like different styles of learning, this will help you to improve more. But if you focus on one style, it may just slow down the process of learning. I hope people get the point. I don't know, maybe it's...
I get it. See, it's really important. So changing your learning style is important, but when people sometimes learn the language from the beginning, they reach a point where they think that they get it all, or they think that they're good enough, or they have reached the goal already. So what can you tell these people? Of course, stop listening to the stuffs you were listening to, or stop reading to the stuffs that you were listening to when you are a beginner, and move to something which is a little bit more difficult, or something upgraded. Okay, so this will make you measure and all the time challenge yourself, which I advise all of you guys. If you are whatever the level you are in now, challenge yourself. If you find this easy, go to something more difficult. Okay, I challenge myself until now. I listen to staffs where I only understand like 30%. Can you imagine? People see me like speaking now, and they think, well, this person understands everything he will listen to. No, it's not true. You need to challenge yourself all the time to give yourself something that you can't fully understand. This way, you will make more effort and you will improve. If you are listening to the same stuffs, you will be like in your place.
That's true. That's true. I would say, for example, I'll give you just one example from my experience. Also, I used to, for example, listen to, no, not listen. Let's talk about speaking. I talked about listening. Speaking also. I used to speak to my friends or people I meet outside also, if I am a beginner. So, the kind of conversations we will have is very simple. So it would be like, hello, what's your name? Where are you from? What kind of food do you like? Where do you live? I don't know. Do you have any hobbies? What's your job? Yeah, what's your job? Basic stuff. At a point, I got bored of this kind of conversation. I felt like I don't want to have them anymore because I'm not learning anything, So what did I do? By myself, I felt like I have nobody. Many people tell me I have no one to practice with. I have no one to practice with. It's just me at home. I'm the only one who speaks English. I cannot go speak to my father and tell him, where are you from? What's your job? You know,
Sure.
he will kick you out of the house. And like, I won't say like my father. No, my father keeps telling me. He used to tell me, yeah, America invaded us. America invaded us.
That's the word he memorized.
American invasion. You know, if you speak English, he sees me.
Yeah.
English.
He's as if you are an invader.
Exactly. It's like I'm cooking in the kitchen. I'm cooking in the kitchen and I'm singing or something.
يقول لك بالعربية ولا يقول لك
نقولها بالعربي يقول لك أمريكان دخلت البلاد. غزات البلاد, you know, أمريكا. So it's so funny, you know. But actually, you know, you cannot speak to your father, you know, like mom or something. So what I was looking for a way to improve my speaking, and then I got an idea. I used to take some articles or like an excerpt from a book, maybe a book page that I really found very interesting, and I do something. I just record it, reading it aloud, you know, with I try to read it in a very the best possible that I can do, in a very good pronunciation, accent, intonation, and everything. And I may even try to elaborate on it. Means what? I read and I explain. It's like I'm reading the text to you, and I'm explaining, to interpret to you. And I try to. This helped me a lot. It helped me to improve my listening, my speaking, my pronunciation, my reading skills, and just by myself. And most importantly, you are recording it. So I made it a kind of recording, 20 minutes, maybe once a week or twice a week. And I do something. I go ahead and I share it with my friends. And I give it to them. I tell them, you can listen to this. It's just a part of a book or something that it's very interesting. And they feel like, wow, it's nice. We liked it. Or, you can. So for me, I'm learning. And I'm using it as a kind of, I'm doing something to share, you know. So that's a trick you can do if you feel like you have nobody to speak English with at home or wherever you go. Okay?
Yeah, that's very, very interesting, actually. So, guys, we have like, I think we still have 7 minutes or more.
Maybe we check some.
Yeah, take some time. If you have some questions, guys, put your questions here. Me and Teacher Sam, we will be answering all your questions. I actually really enjoyed what you've already mentioned. Actually, all the ideas are great, and some of them are new to me. I myself enjoyed most of your ideas. They're really useful, and I'm looking forward actually to have as many teachers here as I can. Maybe collabs with other teachers. That's going to be great. Me and you, and the guys here, they are. Yeah,
I would say there is another teacher. You know, his name is Anwar, I think, and he joined one of my lives. And now he's asking me he asked me for this. He asked me if we can gather some teachers, and maybe we can do it. It will be maybe more professional, like a kind of webinar or something on Zoom.
Yeah, we can do that.
But we can do one webinar between teachers, and then we can do a class between teachers and students. You know, it will be also interesting to do that.
We can do that on Zoom or on other platforms, maybe, so that we can have everyone around. And,
I have another idea. I would say maybe to the people now listening, maybe some of you guys are, I should say this in Arabic, I think. I will speak in Arabic. نقدروا نديروا لايف اخر ان شاء الله بالنسبه للناس اللي كانوا دابا ما كيفهموناش مزيان وباقيين يلا بداو يعني الناس اللي هما مبتدئين تماما. يعني نقدروا مره اخرى ماشي مشكل نديروا لايف بالعربيه، نقدروا نديروا بالعربيه بالنسبه للناس اللي هما مبتدئين. داكوغ، يعني total beginners، يعني مبتدئ تماما، حيت ملي غيبغي يسمع النصائح غيبغي يسمع اون انجلي ما غيفهموش، فهمتي؟ خصو شي واحد يترجم ليه النصائح اون انجلي. يعني نقدروا نخليو نديروا بالنسبه للناس شحال من واحد اللي يكون كندخل معهم اللايف كيقول لك علاش كيهضروا، واش هادو مغاربه ما كنفهموش، وبغيت
او ميم طون كيف ما قلت ديك المره راه كاين 50-50، راه كاين واحد 50% كتقول لك ما كنفهموش، كاين واحد 50% واحده اخرى كتقول لك لا هضروا غير بالانجلي باش نستافد. هو الا جيتو النصيحه ديالنا از تيتشرز، حنا كاساتذه غننصحك تصنت لينا بالانجلي، ضروري بالانجلي. هكا غادي تسوفري شويه، غادي تتمحن شي شويه، ما غتفهمش، ولكن انت غتستافد. ميم بروبليم دابا تيوقع في لي كلاس، الاساتذه كيهضروا بالعربيه والتلاميذ ما كيستافدوا والو، كيطلعوا زرقين. دونك حنا بغينا او ماكسيموم تستافد، او ماكسيموم
تستافدوا. ولكن ما بغيتش نساو دوك الناس اللي مبتدئين، دوك الناس اللي عاد بداو ازيرو، يعني هما نعطيهم ديك الدفعه باش بلي زاستوس مثلا بلي زاستوس وكذا باش يستافدوا.
نديروها. ونقدروا حتى ليدي اللي كان قال لي سام، قال لي في الخاص، هضرت معاه، ليدي اللي كنتي قلتي لي ديال اننا نديروا لايف اللي يكونوا فيه انا وياك، ونطلعوا الناس يسولوا اسئله لايك سبيكين سيشن، ومن بعد نرجعوا. ولكن هذا غيكون طويل شويه، غيكون فيه ساعتين ولا هكا.
هذاك نهار السبت ان شاء الله انا ندير اللايف الانستغرام ديالي ونديروه انا وياك، نديروه فيه ساعتين ولا 3 سوايع. We can do like 3 hours, you know, Saturday, let's say, maybe we can fix it Saturday 13th of June next week. Next Saturday, you know. Next Saturday, yes. So we can do like 2 hours and we can have someone join, ask a question, and then he will leave, and then we'll discuss the question, me and the teacher.
نناقشوا الكويشن انا وسام، ناقشوه بجوجنا ونعطيو الاجوبه بجوجنا، يعني كل واحد.
It will be, you know, it will be not a question, but let's say it will be a situation, like a learning difficulty or a real situation. What do you have problem with? What are you struggling with? What are, you know, something like this. So we can analyze your situation and give you maybe like a diagnosis. It's like we are doctors, but we are not actually.
We're not doctors. We may be wrong in many ideas, but what we are saying is just based on experience. What we have experienced and what we have heard from other people experiencing this. And by the way, I had a live session like 3 days ago, and I've invited one of the students who has learned the English language in less than 6 months. Less than 6 months, he achieved great things, and he has talked to us about his experience. And his name is Walid. Maybe he can join us also and speak to us. عنده واحد التجربه يعني رائعه، تعلم مغربي بواحد الطريقه ذاتيه، وما ساعدو حتى واحد تقريبا، وما كانش اللي يعطيه كاع النصيحه، ولكن كاع الطرق اللي ميثود اللي استخدم كان هو اللي اكتشفهم. So وقف لينا 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam, so much.
Thank you, Mr. Abdelrazak, and yeah, let's fix it for next week. Okay, next week we can have another live and
yeah, sure. Thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you guys, and to you, Sam. Thank you so much.
The same here. It was a pleasure, and thank you guys, and keep learning. Okay, try to follow this advice and